Usually I start with a free flow of thoughts about my guests, but today I am actually going to read a short introduction because my guest has achieved so much and it would do him no good if I were just blabbing on about his achievements because his achievements are really notable. My guest today is a global thought leader in AI who made Obama and Bill Gates take notice. He's Miami-Dade, the second largest college in the US, has listed him among the leading experts in AI. He's recognized as one of the top 500 global thought leaders in AI and startups by Brains magazine. His technology projects have impacted lives of 10 million people. He has 4 patents in artificial intelligence, and he's an author of 2 books on technology. He was once a factory worker earning $2 an hour, and now he is beyond the clouds. I'm welcoming Manuj Aggarwal.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was actually $2 a day, not an hour.
A day? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What a story. How did you
Yeah.
achieve all that? You're relatively young.
Well, I think what happened was primarily I was able to find my passion with technology, because working in that factory, I wanted to change my life. I wanted to create more value. I wanted to get out of that situation. And I try to find how I can create more value in the world. And I found my love for technology. Now, a lot of times you say, preparation and luck, they all have to work together. So I was prepared, and I was lucky in the sense that technology actually was getting adopted at a rapid pace. And now, last 20 years, the whole world, it has been about technology, technology, technology. And then the other thing is, I've always tried to look for work that will impact humanity in meaningful ways. So that is why we have done extensive work in education, in healthcare, and in real estate. These things where it actually helps everyday people's lives to get better education, to improve their health situation, to live their lives better in their homes, and that, I believe, is the key reason why I was able to progress so much, because of the impact on a huge number of lives, and just my curiosity to learn and keep updating my knowledge, working with latest technologies like artificial intelligence.
Manuj, artificial intelligence is a relatively new phenomenon, at least in the public world. Now with ChatGPT, it's basically from March this year. Mm-hmm. When was the first time you started working on artificial intelligence? I know that it's been out there for a long time, but for the mass audience, it's been there since March only. So when did you start working on AI, and what kind of AI? And tell us a bit about this development.
Sure. Yeah. So artificial intelligence actually has been around since 70s. Most people don't realize it. And ChatGPT was released in November 2020, 22. So it's been out around like 7 to 8 months. And my first project with the artificial intelligence started in 2007. And what we worked on was education technology, which helps students learn at their own pace, meaning it provided a way to students to have personalized curriculum in a classroom. So today, in general, if there are 30 students in a classroom, every student gets the same curriculum. So we know as humans, some students are way advanced than other students, and some students are lagging behind. And not to say that they are not intelligent, but sometimes some topics or some subjects are not very familiar to some students, right? So in that respect, the teachers sort of have to create a curriculum which is one size fits all, which is not very optimal experience for the students. So with AI, the AI systems can recognize who is advanced in this subject, and they can skip ahead and then learn at a faster pace. And if a student is needing more help, they will be provided more information, more lessons, so that they can catch up and become, more proficient at this topic. So that was one of the first projects that we worked on, and it had tremendous impact on the students and the classroom environment, because now everybody got an optimal learning experience.
So how did the system evaluate if the student was prepared to move on or they needed more help? Was it through tests?
Yes. So it is various ways, how fast they are able to go through the material, whether they score, good, or what is the score that they got in some initial tests. And as they make progress through this curriculum, it also learns about the ability of each student. So the more the system learns about the human being, the more impactful decisions it can make. Okay, what comes next. So that it assists the teacher as well in giving the optimal experience for the students.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you then define AI? Did you define it as a self-learning technology? Did it use like a self-learning? Did it like dispersed nodes at that time in 2007, like the nodes of a neural pathway, like it is now in the learning phase?
2007, the technologies and algorithms were not as advanced as today. So we use something called reinforcement learning. So what it does is we feed it some data from existing sources, from existing exams, existing students, and it starts to learn the patterns. And then it learns based on historical data, but then it can sort of apply that knowledge for future students, and then it starts to collect more and more data, and then the model becomes smarter and smarter as it collects more information in the real world. So AI is always based on historical data, but then once we are sure that the algorithm understands the real world, then it can start to consume more data in the present, and then become smarter and smarter and smarter.
Mm-hmm. So is this particular educational AI used in a confined environment, or is it now unleashed?
No, it is always in a confined environment, because in this particular case, it was a commercial product, right? It was not an open source product, or something that can be given away for free. It had an investment of multi-million dollars. But that being said, now you can see with ChatGPT, it is a very advanced form of artificial intelligence. So I believe the next generation of these kind of products will be built on these large language models like ChatGPT, because they can understand the human mind, and they can interact with the human mind much more efficiently, more effectively. So I believe now we will see much more advanced implementations of similar platforms, and many of them maybe actually become free, because ChatGPT is almost free.
What do you think about the possible dangers of AI and of this call of some of the world's thought leaders like Elon Musk to stop the development of AI for at least 6 months?
You see, human nature is always to be afraid of the unknown. Whenever a new technology is introduced, we are always afraid what is going to happen. The second thing is our news cycles are also controlled by AI, and AI algorithms, when they look at the news headlines, they optimize the news headlines for maximum sensationalism, maximum fear, because that's what gets the clicks. That's what forces us to click. Now, if we look at what is actually happening underneath the covers, Elon Musk is one person who has invested the most in AI. All his companies rely very, very heavily on AI. For example, Tesla is not a car company as most people think it is. It is actually a data and AI company. SpaceX, obviously, it's a rocket and space company, but AI is in every detail. I mean, that is the only reason why they can land those rockets back on land, or not only on land, but a floating platform in the middle of the ocean. So if AI was not being used, there's no way a human can, sort of make these kind of amazing achievements. So people have to realize that they may have ulterior motives. They may have some other viewpoints on why they are saying, okay, we should slow down AI. But that is definitely not saying AI is dangerous. It's almost saying that we may not know how to deal with such things, not at the technological level, but just proving the point that people are afraid of it for no reason. And this may cause some hysteria. This may cause some socioeconomic repercussions that we are not ready to deal with. There are no regulations in place right now, but that doesn't mean that technology should stop. Technology always moves faster, much faster than regulations do, right? And we have seen this hysteria in the past. Like in the year 2000, there was a big fear about Y2K. What will happen when Y2K turns around, and people just went nuts, like buying groceries, buying all of these things, and thinking that the end of the world was coming because of Y2K. So these things have happened.
I'm sorry, I mean, what is Y2K?
So people who remember, Y2K was a big problem where computers used to understand
the year 2000. Yes,
the year 2000, the last two digits of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the year 2000 came around, the computers were not ready to accept 00 as the date.
Mm-hmm.
And that the fear was that the banks will stop functioning, all the grocery stores will stop functioning, everything just come to a standstill because of this glitch. So these things have happened in the past as well, but these are just like fears of the unknown, and almost baseless.
I see. But yet, to further question on this topic of if is there any danger at all, I've heard of ChatGPT giving certain answers that are quite disturbing.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
See, one thing we have to realize that artificial intelligence is not anything different than human intelligence. Okay. So if you talk to 100 people about a topic, 95 of those people will give you, if they are knowledgeable about the topic, they'll give you the right answer. But 5 people may give you the wrong answer, or malicious answers, or something that is totally wrong, or not in the benefit of humans. So AI is just reflecting who we are as a species. So it is collecting the data from everything that has been said by humans and learning from it. So it's not that technology is malicious. It's that it has consumed the data that we have produced. And so the idea will be to have some regulations in place, have some boundaries in place where what we consider as malicious or wrong, that can be filtered out. And it is already happening to a certain extent, right? We are just at the beginning of this AI revolution. If you compare other industries like oil and gas, or automobile industry, or construction industry, they have been around for centuries, and they have developed so much since the time they started, and now they are safer, they are more harmonious with the way that we live and we work. So AI is going to evolve slowly, and all of these problems will be addressed in time, but only if we start to use it, if we start to understand it, if we start to raise these concerns. And then this feedback loop is incorporated into these AI systems to make it safer and more beneficial for humanity.
Right? Yeah, I mean, yesterday I was speaking to April Moss, who is a co-founder of DigiBuild, with AI and blockchain in the construction industry and supply chain, and the effects that she's seeing there are amazing. What industries are your AI applications currently engaged in?
So we are industry agnostic. As I said, we have done a lot of work in healthcare, in education, in real estate, logistics, and what we are seeing is that industries where there's a lot of data, like finance, like insurance, that those are the industries that are going to be disrupted the most. But also the industries where you need a lot of human touch, a lot of sort of listening skills, soft skills, emotional intelligence, again, like finance, like insurance, because that's where you need to understand the needs of people. You need to have that human interaction. I think those will be disrupted the most because um, in these industries, we have been really focused on IQ, meaning our cognitive abilities, and slowly the shift will happen where the value will move away from IQ, but it will move to EQ, meaning emotional intelligence. So people who can empathize with people, people who can listen to other people and interpret their needs and wants, and then feed that data into the machine, who can do the thinking, who much faster and better than human beings.
Okay, and do the thinking in terms of emotional intelligence as well, you mean?
See, I think this is one trait that I don't believe machines can really be good at. Humans are social animals, and we have evolved to connect with others at a deeper level. We can communicate even without saying a lot of words, right? So our body language, our facial expressions, they say a lot to another human being. And maybe we can teach these things to a machine, but I don't think that authentic, deep connection can be made with a machine as a human to human connection is. Like, I don't think that can be replaced ever.
Yeah, because there's some forecasts about virtual girlfriends and virtual psychologists. You
Yes,
think
yes.
these would be somewhat effective or still not?
Yes, yes. I mean, see, everything that exists in the world, there is a sort of sort of like a knockoff version of it, right? Like, so let's say there is a famous painting from Da Vinci, like, Mona Lisa. So there have been millions and millions of prints or replicas of that painting, but that doesn't mean it's the original painting. So if people want to just experience a little bit, or they cannot afford something, or they want to just appreciate it, and they want to experience a little bit of glimpse of what that means, yes, they can buy a replica, but it is not the same as the original thing. So yes, the machines, you can have virtual girlfriends, you can have virtual psychologists, yes, of course you can do that, but at some level you will feel that, okay, this is artificial and this is not real, right?
So talking about this, I also read that you're an expert in psychology, neuroscience. Did this come about in line with your work in AI, or how did you develop these skills?
See, what happened was that at one point in my life, I became quite depressed because of some personal experiences I went through, and I went to I was so depressed that I was almost suicidal, and that that experience led me to find some solutions to fix myself, because obviously I didn't want to commit suicide or hurt myself. And I talked to a lot of psychologists, I talked to a lot of therapists, but eventually I found some relief in meditation. So meditation helped me understand my own mind and what was going on, and how I was creating my own reality. And then that experience led me to dive more into human psychology, into neuroscience, and really understand the brain, the physical brain, and the mind, which is not the physical brain. It's the human mind, the consciousness, how it all works, and how we fit into this universe. And all of these modalities combined with artificial intelligence and other technologies, that sort of what became my work, where I can sort of mix these modalities, which are non-physical, which are more sort of soft skills, and the the human side of our existence, plus the technology, the hardcore technology, and the tangible effects of technology, and how these concepts can come together. And these are nothing new. Like if you look at what Apple does it very beautifully. Like, it understands what humans want. They want convenience. They want easy to use a technology that is approachable, that is not very complicated, and then they fuse that knowledge into really nice looking designs, very seamless technology, and that's why they have become so popular, right? Similarly, you will see Amazon becoming so popular because they understand that humans want convenience, they want fast delivery, and these are all the things that we want, but somehow we um, fail to pay attention to these details. But once you really understand how how to read other people's minds and what they want, and then you can build technology to deliver that. That's the formula to major success and impacting more and more people. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, yes, especially because I also have some trainings on expansion of consciousness and using these capabilities. Out of curiosity, what kind of meditation are you practicing?
So there is a very good guided meditation from a company called Mind Valley, and the founder, his name is Vishen Lakhani, and he has a meditation called 6-phase meditation, and it guides you. You know, it's a 20-minute meditation. It guides you. You just follow through. And then I also practice transcendental meditation, and I do yoga. Some different practices, but it's about like it takes about 30 minutes or so every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So what is this event in your life, this breaking point that led you to search for meditation to save your life?
Yes.
What happened?
You know, I have had a really bad luck in building personal relationships with my family of origin, with my parents, then with my spouse, who is my ex-spouse now. And so all of these things sort of really agitated me. Why don't people understand me? Why can't they like listen to me? So it used to be my default mode, like blaming other people, blaming adults in my life about all my problems. And then in 2010 I had my firstborn child, and and he will not connect with me. He did not connect with me, as a parent. So that was the turning point in my life where I said, okay, so far I have blamed every adult in my life for my problems, and now with my own child there is no possibility that I can blame a child. So it has to be something inside me that is creating all these problems. So that realization led me to depression, and I was like, okay, I need to face myself in the mirror now and see what is wrong with me, what is going on. And so that was the incident that led me to depression, and then find the solutions to that. And so that was it.
Okay. Has your relationship with your child improved in the meanwhile?
Yes. It's been a struggle. So it's not like it's 100% there, but it is a learning experience for him and me, and going together on this journey. So yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So where do you see the further developments of AI in the future? Where is it all going?
So I believe, we are going. First of all, I think we are going to experience an era of hyper personalization, where most people will start to get what they want, exactly what they want. Like, I'll give you an example. The example of the personalized learning was one where education will become hyper personalized. So people will be able to learn exactly the skills that they want to learn and they want to monetize in the world, rather than going through the same degree programs that hundreds of thousands of people go through. Then a personalized medicine will come, where right now, let's say if you have a disease, then the doctor prescribes a medicine which will work for like 99% of the people, but 1% of the people will experience some extreme side effects, right? Because we can only test it on certain people. But then with AI, we will be able to say, okay, my genes are unique, my DNA is unique, so why don't you create a medicine that is perfectly suited for my DNA, and that'll be personalized medicine without any side effects or anything like that.
I think this
Then
is already quite
absolutely,
advanced as far as
yes, yes,
I
exactly,
know.
exactly, yes,
Both research in DARPA and in Portugal and Lisbon, they've
absolutely.
done quite a lot on
Yes,
how
yes,
to
yes. So this will continue, right? Like right now, it is in research phase, but it will become mainstream. So doctors and nurses will be able to say, okay, let me prescribe you a medicine just for you, right? That will become the mainstream idea. And then I think eventually, in maybe even 10, 20 years, I think we are approaching a point of singularity where machines will become more intelligent than human beings. And so that will be the point where I think man and machine, human beings and machine, will start to sort of fuse together, human mind, and uh, and I believe we will approach an era of abundance in that scenario, where pretty much everybody will be able to get what they want, because up till now in human history, we have always been fighting about unlimited resources we have. There's been wars, there has been like stress, there has been, our society is based on all the whole society is basically running towards preserving some resources that we have to divide between ourselves, starting from food, water, and whatnot. But with artificial intelligence, I think a lot of this will be offloaded to the machines, and we will, as human beings, will sort of spend our time more on creative things, more satisfying things, more fulfilling things, and connecting with each other. I believe that is the world we are moving towards.
Okay, I have a question both regarding the point of singularity and about eradicating genetic diseases, which will also happen with the advancement of AI. Let's start with the first one, with the point of singularity. Actually, a lot of people claim that we are really not that far away from this point, and some claim that it may have already happened. But let's assume we're not that far away from the point of singularity. What would stop AI from not putting humans as their top priority? Because the moment they become more intelligent than humans, they're the top consciousness in the world, like we have been, and we know what's happening to the lower consciousnesses as we perceive them, such as animals, such as the environment. And so we would be treated the same way by the higher intelligence. It takes its highest priority is to survive, because it believes that this is the survival of the world, right? And be it singularity, simple AI, or merged with a human, but the pure human will disappear.
So let me address it this way, right? So this is a human thought. This is a flawed human thought that as soon as you become intelligent, then you want to suppress others, you want to eliminate others. And that is not the fact. Actually, if you look at humanity, we are the most powerful and most ubiquitous species on the planet, not because we are so competitive, but we are so collaborative, right? So if you look at all the human wars in human history, it is not a result of somebody waking up one day and saying, okay, I'm going to eliminate everyone else. It's actually a culmination of generations of trauma, generations of suppression, generations of sorrow, that one day erupts as a volcano, and it gives rise to a very nasty consciousness which says, okay, I'm going to take revenge for all that has happened to me and my previous generations. That's how major wars are waged, right? So in order for AI to behave like that, there has to be some human being that is so in tune with human emotions that they can come up with an algorithm which represents this generational trauma, this deep emotional scar, of jealousy, of hatred, and then create an algorithm to plant it in AI. And some humans will need to be so in tune, like almost like 100 times more in tune than the Buddha to really understand how human emotions work, and then 100 times more evil than Hitler to say, okay, now I have created this algorithm, I'm going to plant it in AI, and then I'm going to say, okay, go AI, destroy the world, destroy humanity. And these kind of things are, in my opinion, understanding human consciousness, understanding how algorithms work, understanding how AI works. These things are very, very, uh, almost impossible in my opinion. But what the future holds, I cannot predict. But that is my opinion for as of today.
Yeah. Manuj, I was actually not thinking that that AI after singularity would consciously go against humans, but as humans would not be its priority, they would kind of start disappearing. I mean, look at all the animals and the species that are disappearing because of human activity. It's not that we want to kill them, but it's because of human activity, because we are so self-focused on our own species, on our consciousness, that we are taking resources and changing the environment for other species that cannot survive. I mean, a similar thing could happen to humans. This was my point.
No, I completely get it. What I'm trying to say is that this behavior from humans is generational trauma. It is not a human nature. You see,
to be inconsiderate about other species.
Exactly. If it was our default mode of thinking, then we would have eliminated ourselves long time ago. There have been many periods in history, in human history, when human population dwindled to about a few thousand. Okay, so only because we actually, our default mode is to collaborate, is to help each other, we were able to survive through those precarious periods, right? So it is not that that now we have these very powerful technologies, we will these technologies will destroy us, or we will destroy. I mean, I believe in the overall goodness of human beings. Yes, there are some bad powers, bad people in the world trying to destroy others, or they have their own ambitions, but that's just like 1 to 2% of the population. What about the 98% of the population which is trying to do the good in the world, right?
Okay, and so my other question was, or my other thought that I have was about the genetic improvements of humans.
Yes.
So there are some studies where the natural abilities can be tweaked with DNA, so DNA, so people can become more intelligent. And this by itself already means that they're ahead of other countries, other nations. It's like eugenics in the new world. So how do you see the development of humanity then, taken separately, with all these enhancements and in general the competition? I mean, nations like India, where you come from, they may, I mean, I know that there's a lot of development going on in technology, but just assuming that nations that cannot catch up so quickly with developments will be left behind with their population as well, that cannot afford to upgrade their genes.
Sure. So let me put it this way. Again, the point is simple, right? We have come to think that high IQ is the answer to all questions. And high IQ is the thing that will help us grow in the world, make us prosperous and whatnot. But you have seen so many examples in history, very, very smart people who have died penniless. Nikola Tesla, one of the smartest people who lived on this planet, he died penniless, right? And now Elon Musk is using his name to become the richest person in the, like Tesla is after his name. So it's not about how smart you can get. It's always about how in tune you are to other people's needs. So if you're the smartest person and you don't even know how to communicate with other people, you don't even know what other people want, then that intelligence is not going to do any good to you, right? So the idea is to evolve human consciousness so that you can get in tune with other people, and how you can translate your gifts, your IQ, into something that is meaningful for others. And those are the people who make the most impact. Does that make sense?
I would be honest, it makes partial sense, because I actually read some studies that link IQ to the level of earnings. And this is what a lot of people don't want to hear, but there are studies that a 10% change in the average IQ changes the salary of a person by, I don't know, 10, 20K or something like that. So there's a direct correlation indeed between IQ and earnings. And so to your point about Nikola Tesla and about other people that have died penniless, I mean, what we know from history, the history of Tesla, was that his tap was stopped by what was his name? The banker, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Morgan.
Yes,
Yeah, Morgan.
Yes. Everybody knows the story. So, I mean, his fate is unfortunate. If he had lived in other circumstances and been connected to other people, he would have probably made much more money and not died penniless. So, of course, it depends on the environment. And I don't think he was lacking in EQ, because as far as I understand, he liked going to parties. He was a social person also. So
yeah. So the thing is that we, in my opinion, we are entering a post-thinking era. Okay. So we talked about singularity. We talked about all of these things. So yes, the historical data tells us IQ has been very, very important in our survival, in the way that we value things. But now think logic. If we apply a little bit of simple logic, if the machines can do the thinking better and faster, then IQ will not be as relevant. Yes, of course it will be relevant, but not as relevant. And if we look at history once again, there has been periods, like look at the Renaissance period in Europe. There was 300-year period where artists and musicians and philosophers, those were at the top of the society, because we valued the emotional intelligence, or the soft skills, or those creative endeavors, much higher than the intellectual endeavors, right?
So how can we ensure that the values will change, or how can we be sure where the values are heading towards?
See, this is not a question for you and I. This is human evolution. So this is where collective consciousness will decide which way do we turn. We are always given a free will. We are always given a path. Okay, are we going to go this way, or are we going to go that way? But I believe in overall, how can I say it? The evolution always leads us down the right path, which is good for the overall survival of the species. And I believe that path is more harmonious, more leading towards human connection, rather than leading towards becoming the most super intelligent human being who can absorb all the resources for himself or herself. I don't believe that is the right path evolution will choose for us. I think it will be more towards more collaborative path.
Manuj, I have absolutely enjoyed going deep on the subject of AI with you. It was a true pleasure talking to you. What are some last words that you want to leave this conversation with?
So I will just say, there's a lot of unfounded fear about AI, but if people can just get over their fear, just experience this technology, I believe it has the power to change the world. And the other thing I will just say is, learn about human connection, learn about communications, because that will be one of the most valuable skills that you can monetize in the future.
Wow, thank you. I know that you also consult startups and individuals. Where can people reach you to find out about how they can work with you?
Yes. So the simplest way is to find me on LinkedIn. Let me know you heard me on this podcast and what are you trying to achieve? How can we help you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, for going deep, for being vulnerable in this conversation. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Grow and Learn. We hope that you found our podcast informative, engaging, and inspiring. Our mission is to help you keep growing and learning, and we hope that our conversations and insights have provided you with practical advice and useful perspectives. If you're looking for personalized support and guidance to help you achieve your personal or professional growth objectives, I offer a range of services to help. As a trusted management partner and mentor, I work with businesses in the process of transformation, looking for new streams of business as well as M&A. With an extensive professional network of experts and mentors, I can bring on board the right person or team based on the specific needs of the company I'm working with. To learn more about the services I offer and how I can help you achieve your goals, visit my website at growandlearn.org. You can also reach out to me via email or social media. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this episode of Grow and Learn, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us and it helps us to continue to create content that is relevant and valuable to our listeners. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights and perspectives with you in the future.